When I would wrestle, I enjoyed the feelings that came with winning.
We raised our family in the Libertyville, Green Oaks area, which is about an hour north of Chicago. When Danny was 5 years old, I said, I'm going to sign him up for wrestling. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. My husband, Scott, was an All-American wrestler for the University of Rhode Island. I knew he made it to the NCAA tournament, but Scott wasn't a bragger at all, at all.
I learned about the success my dad had probably in my third, fourth, maybe even fifth year of wrestling, where I actually could understand what being an All-American was. And I didn't realize how amazing that was until watching the NCAA tournament.
Danny was telling me, he was like, yeah, my dad was the #1 seed going into the national tournament. I was like, I had no idea.
His college wrestling coach gave him a call and wanted him to help out with his agency where they were representing some of the Patriot players, and then grew into baseball and moved out to Chicago. My dad actually represented Wade Boggs, Randy Johnson, and all the way to Bobby Witt Jr. now. These were guys that didn't look at my dad as an agent. They looked at my dad as like a second father.
When Danny was 5 years old, he tried to coach him, and Danny basically told him he didn't know what he was doing, and he wanted to let his club coach him. And as Danny got older, he became more appreciative of his dad. And then in college, they spoke pretty much after every practice.
His freshman year, Danny didn't make the NCAA tournament. His sophomore year, he made the NCAA tournament. His junior year, he made the NCAA tournament again and finished with 2 wins.
With Mr. Pucino, All-American, I think Danny really wants to reach that goal the same as his dad. There's no reason to be like, oh, next year, because there's no next year.
I want an All-American so bad this year, and especially for my dad. The spring of 2024, I had gotten a call, and my dad had asked if I was alone. I told him I was just driving alone, and he had told me that he had cancer. And I remember going, okay, what kind of cancer was it? And he told me it was pancreatic. I remember having to pull over on the side of the road and looking up and praying, just realizing it wasn't going to be good.
It was kind of earth-shattering, but we believed we could beat it.
Right away, it was doing a lot of praying and a lot of comforting. But the whole time, I was in denial.
I could tell Danny was kind of struggling in practice. You could kind of tell there was some dullness inside, something that was truly sad.
My dad started doing treatment, which consisted of chemotherapy. He was super embarrassed because he was losing his hair. I decided I was going to shave my head, and a bunch of guys on the team, stood up and decided to do it with me. I'd sent my dad the video of us shaving our heads, and I remember getting a call right away, and he was in tears, crying, and he had said it was the first time he hadn't felt alone in a while.
When it came time to discuss whether or not Danny was going to participate in senior day, I told Danny, we don't know how long Dad's going to be around.
He showed up, and you could tell things were starting to, affect him. But he was always here to support Danny, no matter what.
Scott was unable to attend the NCAA tournament. I went, and his brother and his sister-in-law came and stayed with him. And Danny was losing by 8 points in wrestleback, so it was do or die. But he did pin the guy, and my brother-in-law called and was screaming. He's like, Scott's going crazy.
Staying alive. From Illinois, Danny Pucino.
He had the energy to go crazy when he won that match.
In April, my mom had called me and told me that I needed to get home. And I found out that, he wasn't going to make it much longer. I told him I was going to wrestle again. And I was going to do my best All-American for him. He said, "You don't need to do it for me, do it for yourself." And that was actually one of the last combos I had ever had with him. It was, hey, Dad's not with us anymore. He's in heaven now. And I remember losing it, like just crying. And there was just like this piece of, the whole year he was suffering a lot. And he was not suffering anymore. The day I realized how many people had touched was when there were 700 people at his wake, all of them crying and realizing that he loved everybody.
I was a little worried when he said he was going to do another year, because this is the first year he'd be doing it without his dad. And I wanted more than anything for Scott to see him on the podium.
There's like days now where I'll be wrestling, I'll have a good practice or a bad practice. And like my first thought's like, "Oh, call Dad." That was the hardest part, was that I can't give him a call when I'm having a really bad day anymore. He was my best friend. Whenever we're doing visualization as a team, I try to visualize myself on the podium in March.
Danny would go off to a quiet place, just by himself. I think that's something that he took from his dad. Get himself in the right place mentally to go out and compete hard.
Thinking about being an All-American, it lives in your head a lot. With how things have changed in my life recently, other things become a priority, but you still always want that first All-American finish.